So let's talk a little bit about the SEC. How about my Bama Roll Tide?
How about your Bama Roll Tide hosting
A&M.
Texas
Johnny
A&M.
Football.
Johnny Football.
Johnny Football averages on third down over 10 yards rushing if he rushes the ball and over 10 yards passing if he passes the ball. I put that stat up on the fan page last night. What do you think he's able to do that this weekend against Alabama? Now, I know you probably haven't seen a lot of either of these guys, you know, because I know it's hard for you sometimes to watch the college games, but I want to know. I know you're big on this kid, Johnny Football. We've talked about him a few times on this show. Do you think he can keep up that kind of production against Alabama's defense?
No, I don't. I really don't. Look, from what I've watched of Alabama and this Alabama defense, I think this Alabama defense could stop maybe one or two offenses in the NFL. I think they could come really, really close to being able to stop an offense like Jacksonville. I think they could come really, really close to stopping an offense like even a Cleveland. Even Seattle, I think they could give a run for their money. I don't think they could handle Seattle's defense. I don't think their offense would be able to handle Seattle's defense, but we're not talking about that.
Oh, we're not?
Alabama's defense, I think, could handle Seattle's offense. No disrespect to Marshawn Lynch. No disrespect to the other players on that team, but this Alabama defense flies all over the place. And I mean all over the place. And when they hit you, they're not one of those teams that just sort of hit you. Like, they make sure you know that they hit you. And I like this Bama defense. I like how they execute. I like the scheme that they run. I think that Saban has them playing with a high motor at all times of the game. You can tell they do not take a play off. And I really like that too. And I really think that that's something that Bama prides themselves. And I think that it's something that you should pride yourself on. It's defense. Defense is about pride, showing people that you have what it takes to stop the other team. I mean, it's really that simple. So you look at this game and, I'm sure Alabama at this point really, they're a team that, in my opinion, just wants to get to the national championship. They're not really a team that, stresses every single game, every single week. I think they're a team that expects to be there at the end. But in college football, one loss is enough, especially this late in the year, to knock you out of that conversation. So obviously they have to take each game serious. But I'll ask you, since you're the Bama fan, what beats Alabama? If they were to lose this weekend, what is the cause for them to lose?
Big plays early in the game. If you're going to get to Alabama, Alabama has had a tendency to let up a few points early. You're not going to beat them late. The defense, Nick Saban empowers them come the end of the game. But if you could come out, if Johnny Football can come out and hit a couple big plays early, like first quarter, that's their biggest thing, is they got to jump out to an early lead and then try and hold it, because they're not going to score late on this Alabama defense. That's the whole key. That's the entire key, in my opinion, to winning this game. If I'm Texas A&M, is I have to get out early and often against this defense.
Okay, now I like how you said that, because I can see what you mean by the fact that you got to fathom that Nick Saban in the halftime locker room is probably one of the best, if not the best, college coaches at halftime adjustments and making those little changes to stop a team from doing what they were doing successfully against you in the first half. So I can see where you're coming from with the get ahead early, because if you don't get ahead early, they will adjust and stop you from doing anything that you think you do well. Now, Texas A&M averages almost 45 points a game with almost 560 yards per game. They really are the last hurdle Alabama really should have to leap to get to the national championship game before the SEC championship game, obviously. If they win this game this weekend, they will face either Georgia or Florida in the SEC championship game, which I think will be a good game. But between now and then, this is their last real test. All they got left is Western Carolina and Auburn, who is struggling dramatically. The combined record 3-16 between the two teams. So this is really their last hard test, I guess you could say, before the SEC championship game. Now, Texas A&M likes to run a high-tempo offense. Is that something that worries Alabama or not?
No. Nope. Not even a thought in our mind. Because Alabama's just well-conditioned. They're fast. They're strong. They're ready. They're not wearing out like you would wear out other teams.
Yeah. Texas A&M has racked up 600 yards or more in at least 5 games this year. Johnny Football, as a freshman, has totaled 31 touchdowns and is averaging 383 yards of total offense by himself. Better than 47 FBS teams. So the man can make plays. But like we've mentioned before, Bama, I'm pretty sure, knows how to handle quarterbacks that can move. You saw it with Denard Robinson, who coming into the year was one of the Heisman favorites with what he's done since he's been in Michigan. And instead, he did nothing against Bama. So, in my opinion, this whole game rests on Johnny Football. If Johnny Football makes a couple big plays and a couple, scrambles here, scrambles there, gets the defense out of position, wide receivers keep fighting to get open, all that kind of stuff, maybe Johnny Football leads them on a couple early drives. Maybe they pull ahead pretty far, get up 21-0. All of a sudden, Bama's got a big hill to climb up. I don't see Bama losing this game, though.